have to be turned on too. Am I turned on? Am I turned on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I turned on?
Should be.
Sounds like it. Okay. This is what I want to do. Not really. I feel like I could lead a meditation, but I wanted to do this. Okay, so how do you guys feel when you see bubbles?
Happy.
Oh, it's youth serum.
Happy?
It turns all the shades over.
It won't hurt the sanctuary, by the way. Well, my talk is becoming as little children.
Wait, one moment. We are having technical
I'm not sure I can hear.
successes.
I'll talk louder.
Oh, it sounds louder now.
Okay, good. So, Yeshua, Jesus Christ said, verily I say unto you, unless you become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the kingdom of heaven and how do we become as little children? So I decided to check with AI. See what they said. And
Here we go.
it's pretty impressive. Jesus' statement about becoming as little children to enter the kingdom of heaven carries a rich and metaphorical meaning that
Slow
points
down,
to
please. Slow down.
a radical inner transformation. Rather than promoting immaturity, it calls for a spiritual conversion away from the ego-driven mindset of the material world and towards the humble, trusting consciousness of the soul. In metaphorical terms, the kingdom of heaven is an inner state of unity with the divine, not a future physical place. And then Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of the Center for Spiritual Liberty, said, the kingdom of heaven is not a physical place, but a realm of spiritual perfection and peace that exists in every person. To enter this kingdom, one must become aware of the divine presence within through spiritual realization rather than seeking it outside of oneself. It is aligning with universal mind. And Charles Fillmore said, he viewed the kingdom of heaven or God as representing the divine mind or spiritual realm within each person. And he saw it as an internal consciousness that can be realized by adjusting our thoughts to align with divine ideas, leading to a state of harmony and well-being. Well, they all sort of say that it's right here, and we all knew that anyway. So, my question to all of us and to myself is, are we willing, unafraid, and loving ourselves enough to fully enter into our hearts? Because that's what it takes to enter the kingdom. And here's where the becoming as little children comes in, because they have they're already inside of us with all these wonderful qualities that we need to cultivate in ourselves. You look very serious.
I'm very interested in what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So, what are the qualities? What are the childlike qualities? And I'm thinking of the little ones, like Yeshua Christ said, become as little children. And I work in the public schools as a part-time as an aide, usually with special needs children. But at times, when I find a kindergarten class or a TK class, which is 4-year-olds, which now are in public schools, I always try to take those because I like those. I like that age group a lot. And so I'm thinking of children, not babies, but maybe 1 to 1.5 to 4, 5, and sometimes the 5s are not quite all there with a hope. Straight from God, straight from source. And so these qualities that we want to cultivate in ourselves are joy and love. Children are just there, you know, always they're loving. When years ago I was in a kindergarten class again, and the teacher was reading to the children in front of the, they were sitting around her and she was reading to them, and the parents started coming in to pick up the kids because it was time for them to leave. And one mother came in with her little 3-year-old, and I think she was about 2.5 or 3, and we all sat down waiting. And this little girl just kind of went around to everybody that was sitting there, all the other mothers and people, and she said, "I love you, I love you." It was so sweet, and she was such a beautiful little child. I'll never forget that. I was like, I just watched her, and it was amazing. Yeah, so that's one of the qualities, and I think that's probably the biggest one, to be here in our heart. And trust and non-judging. Children are very trusting, and they don't judge until later, then they start. But the little ones really don't. And I'm older than a lot of the people in a school, and they're not used to it, but they don't notice. The other ones do. They'll ask me, how did you get old, or something like that. They're very honest. That's another thing, honesty and humility, very, very much. Oh, and awe and wonder. They're so awed by everything, and everything is new for them, and they're learning, and that's how we should be, because we take things for granted. We take nature for granted. We take each other for granted, But no, be in wonder and always learning new things. I love to watch the little boys in kindergarten, because they're always finding bugs, and they stand around and they wait for bugs outside in the playground. And they look at the trees, and they look on the ground, and they're waiting for bugs. And they love it, and they get so excited when they find a bug. The little girls aren't so excited, but the little boys are. That's always fun to see. And also, loving with all their hearts, living with all their hearts. They live with all their hearts. They just, whatever they do, they're just there, doing it. Unless they don't want to do it, then you know. But anyway, so that's the age group. So what are some ways that we can get in touch with the child inside of us, if you already aren't? And I think many of us are, in some ways, maybe not consciously, but for me it's been important to find that child, because I've done a lot of inner child healing. There's a wounded child that I'm talking about, the essence child. I'm talking about the child that we were born as, and that soul, that little light. That's the child I'm talking about to connect with in ourselves. Well, we can watch movies. Disney right now that's one of the ways to get in touch. Disney has some wonderful movies out there, animated things, and they're giving a lot of power to the little girls now in movies, not the little boy, not the hero being the boy or the young man. It's the girls. So that's fun. But what I would really suggest is taking that into meditation and having the intention of connecting with that part of yourself, and finding a picture of yourself. And I mean, again, a little one, not a picture when you're a baby or a picture when you're older, but before 5, maybe a year and a half, 5. If you can find a picture and tune into that part of you. I did that years ago accidentally. My dad took a lot of pictures of me when I was really little, and I found this picture, and I'm going, oh my God, that's who I am. It felt, my heart was like, whoa, that is really me, So she's kind of guided me, but if you have that intention too when you go into meditation, you can sometimes, it could be the wounded child might come up, because that child might need some love and healing from you, the parent, It's good to try to reparent sometimes our children that are wounded. And another thing I think too is getting in touch with the child helps. Sometimes when we want to make changes in our life and we're stuck because we think, oh, I'm not worthy of doing that. Well, maybe you want to do art, maybe you want to do clay, and you think, oh, I can't do that, I can never do that. Well, it's the belief of the child. Way back, you've got to believe somehow that you can't do something. And we've got to talk to that child and say, no, wait a minute, this is now, and this is what we want to do, and if we can do this, you've got to let go of that belief, because it's not true, it's a lie. You can do this, you can do this, clay, or whatever it is you want to change in your life. you can make that happen and love that little child and have compassion and tell him or her that it's no longer valid. No, we're going to be happy now. We're going to do this thing. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, oh yeah, the other way to get in touch with a child too is probably you already do this, and that is to tune in and watch your children or grandchildren or whatever little child might be around, a little one again. You know, just watch them. It's amazing. I love to stand on the playground and watch the kids because they're fascinating. And oh, the other thing is go to the library. This is good if you feel kind of down too sometimes. Go to the library and look for the picture books, not the books with a lot of writing and reading and stuff, but the picture books for the little ones. And not only are the pictures really fun and really sometimes wonderful art, but the stories and their imagination, you know, about animals talking and having little parties or whatever, they're all kind of imaginational things. They're wonderful, and that cheers you up. That's a fun thing to do as well. Anyway. So in their book, Embracing Ourselves, Stone and Winkleman write, the discovery of the inner child is really a discovery of a portal to the soul. The more the inner child reveals itself to us, the more deeply we connect to the wisest, most ancient, eternal part of ourselves. The spirit of the little child leads us to our divine essence, the God within. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. I really like that. Yeah. So I'm going to read you a story now. And this story is a metaphor. And it isn't exactly a children's story. It's actually for the child and an adult. It's called The Reluctant Seed. It's about the seed that doesn't want to sprout. Once upon a time, a seed came into being in whatever amazing and miraculous ways seeds come into being. She may have been dropped from the beak of a bird flying over, and with the help of a little rain, she made her way deep into the earth. Since the earth seemed such a solid, safe place to be, she decided to stay and remain a seed. She spent much of her time watching the other seeds around her growing and pushing their way through the earth. She heard their moans and efforts and felt it must be a terribly painful process. And when they finally broke through, who knows what miserable, fearsome things could happen up there in all that light. So she continued to remain tiny, and she continued to remain a seed. There she is, in the dirt. But as days passed, she began to feel increasingly unhappy with where she was. If I let myself sprout, she would worry to herself, I might be eaten by bugs or crawly things, or a fierce wind might blow and scatter me into nothing, or the other plants up there might hide me from the sun, and I might wither and die, or I might be a beautiful flower. Me, a beautiful flower? And she wiggled down farther in the dirt. Can everybody see that? As time passed, the seed became more and more dissatisfied and uncomfortable with where she was. What can I do? She asked herself. She talked to herself quite a bit since the other seeds were always coming and going. I feel so small and so alone. I'm afraid to go up. I'm afraid of what could happen up there, but I'm so unhappy and bored, stuck in this earth. What can I do? One day, a motherly mole came digging by. She noticed the seed moping and whining, and politely asked if she could help in any way. The seed proceeded to tell her her troubles, glad to have some friendly attention. It looks to me, said the mole after listening, that you are stuck, seed, but not literally. You're afraid to go up, but you're unhappy about being down. You're worrying about things that haven't happened yet and probably never will. You don't like being unhappy, but you won't accept happiness either. You are certainly stuck. What? Said Seed, a little confused. You're telling me that I don't want to be happy? Yes, said the motherly mole. That's what it appears to me. The Seed watched her. She continued, I mean, what are you here for, Seed? I don't know, said the seed. I can't remember how I got here. I've been here for a long time. I know, said the mole. That's not what I mean. I mean, why are you here, seed? What's your purpose? My purpose? You mean I have one? You mean there's a reason why I'm here? Of course, said the mole. We all have a meaningful purpose. So what do you think it is, considering, of course, who you are? Who I am? Said the seed, beginning to look a little brighter. You mean a seed? Yes, said the mole. And what are seeds supposed to do? Well, said the seed, suddenly remembering the other seeds around her that had been coming and going. Sprout, you mean? The seed looked at her apprehensively and almost afraid to hear the answer. Yes, my dear seed, that is your purpose, your only purpose, and that is where you'll find happiness. Doesn't look at the mole. Doesn't that bring the child out in you? She's very much mother. I was afraid of that, moaned the seed. I'm not even sure how to sprout, and even if I did, I'm not sure how to break through that hard crust, and even if I did that, I don't know what's up there. I might get hurt and... Seed, the mole interrupted. You're worrying about things that don't exist. I have an idea. Why don't you just relax and try not to take this so seriously? Just observe yourself for a while. Watch what you do and what you think and say, and see how you might be creating your own problems. With that, she dug her way on, knowing that Seed was creating her own dilemma with such negative thinking, and that Seed, indeed, was the only one who could do anything about it. After the motherly mole left, Seed was very quiet, wondering about what she had said. Observe myself? That seemed strange and uncomfortable, but not knowing what else to do, she decided to try. Relaxing didn't work well at first. She kept falling into her old ways of worrying and complaining and becoming upset and unhappy. But gradually she began to follow what the mole had suggested, and very gradually she began to observe herself more clearly, and very, very gradually she began to watch and then change her own thoughts to a more positive focus. One day, as she was observing that she really was not as relaxed as she sensed was possible, an earthworm came digging by. He was rather small and slightly slithery and very, very wise. Listen, Seed, he said after he heard her story. I have a few suggestions. It's simple to relax. All you have to do is go inside yourself and look and feel and listen. Go inside myself, said Seed, thinking that she'd just met a really weird worm. Not literally, Seed, just in your imagination. Close your eyes and not only observe your thoughts as you have been doing, but observe and feel your whole seed body. See what it feels like and looks like inside, and watch it breathe. Breathe, Seed, said the wise worm wisely, and he showed her how. Fill up completely from the bottom of yourself all the way to the top, and then let it out, slowly and completely. Yes, you can grow bigger with your breath, Seed, much bigger. Seed took several full breaths and held the last one. Yes, I do feel bigger, I really do. It's magic. My breath is magic. Just again, it's a better picture of the worm, the very wise worm. Yes, it is, Seed, and I'll tell you about some other magic. You're never alone, Seed. There's a presence that is always with you. It's everywhere. It's part of you and part of everything. You're never alone, Seed. A presence? Said Seed, coming out, her relaxing breath, looking around apprehensively. Where? I don't see it. I don't see anything. Where? Will it hurt me? No, Seed. There you go again. You can't really see it. You'll just have to take my word for it and find out for yourself. It's a very loving and guiding force. You can sense it if you go inside yourself and breathe and listen. It's here to help you, but you have to let it. Oh, said Seed, and she became very quiet and thoughtful. After a few minutes, the wise worm said, well, I better be wiggling my way on. Seed looked at him. Thank you, she said softly. Thank you too, Seed. And he smiled as he dug and wiggled his way through the earth. The Seed began to practice daily these new things that she was learning. She began watching and controlling her thoughts and relaxing and sinking deep inside herself with her breath. She also began to have a sense of something else, something magic. She began to know, as the wise worm had said, that she was really not alone. She began to feel much more purposeful, positive, and even happier. Still at times there was a struggle inside of her, quieter and more subtle, but a struggle just the same. At times she heard in a loud voice, in a loud whisper, "Don't go up. You don't know what could happen up there. Stay down here where it's nice and safe." And then she could hear another voice, softer. "What's your purpose, Seed? What's your purpose?" One day when she was feeling especially exhausted from being pulled in two directions, the motherly mole came digging by again. "Hello, Seed," she said. "Why are you still here?" Seed felt a little embarrassed. "Oh, I'm not sure I'm going up. It's pretty bright up there and sprouting is really hard. And anyway, I don't know what I want to sprout into." "Seed, I think you're being lazy. I also think that you haven't decided what you want to sprout into, but you do know." And with that, she continued to dig her way on through the earth as Seed watched in frustration. "If she's so smart, why doesn't she just tell me what to sprout into? She says I know, and I don't. I don't. Do I?" Suddenly, Seed remembered the words of the wise worm. "There's a present that's always with you, Seed. It's here to help you, but you have to let it." Time passed and Seed began to feel differently. She was relaxing in a new way without the pulls in two different directions from the inside voices. From this relaxed place, she began to allow the moisture from the rain that penetrated the earth to touch and nourish her. And gradually she began to feel a little more full than she ever had, even more full than when she was breathing very deeply. By relaxing and allowing life to enter her, the fullness inside her grew and grew until it could no longer be contained. "Oh my goodness, this is really magic, the most magic of all," she said as she felt herself being loosened and opened, expanding and reaching upwards, and at the very same time growing more deeply into the earth. For a few days it all felt smooth and liquid, like floating on a gentle river. But on one particular day, suddenly Seed came to a jolting halt. "Now what?" She shook herself as to awaken. "I can't move. What's happening?" She wiggled and pushed and frantically looked around for an answer or for someone to help, but she was alone. "Oh, why is it getting hard again? Here I am stuck, and no one's around to help me. I never should have sprouted in the first place. Now what will I do? I can't move. I can't go any farther. Oh, what am I going to do?" She's stuck on the earth. You realize it's not metaphorical. Very metaphorical.
Very nice.
Suddenly, she remembered all her practice of relaxing and going inside herself. She gave a deep sigh and began to breathe deeply and fully. "Well, I guess I can figure it out for myself," she said, and she became very still and quiet. "I know what it is," she whispered. I know. And then louder and louder until she was yelling. "I know what it is. It's the crust. It's the top of the earth. I'm going to break through. I want to break through." And she concentrated on relaxing with determination as she felt the magical presence inside her again. And she said, "I want to break through." And then she yelled, "I want to be a flower." The earth erupted, separating loudly all around her. Pieces fell tumbling, and she blinked in the brightest light she had ever imagined. "I've done it," she whispered. "I'm here." So,
Yay.
I don't know if that strikes you guys as being part of your journey or not, but yeah. Anyway, it is very metaphorical, but it has a lot of meaning. So the purpose of our life, in your life, is our life. Our purpose is our life, and our gifts that we have to share. And so all be unafraid to live life with all our hearts.